Watching your follower account.
Every week, someone is trying to sell us a new marketing idea that is really just a repeat of an old idea with new packaging. Usually because marketing companies want to scale their services by offering the same solution to every client. But financial advisors need repeatable marketing that isn't repeatable by their competitors.
So we built a place to challenge those traditional ideas. First, we find an idea that everybody thinks works.
Then we challenge everything that is wrong with it. After we rip it apart, our producer and production team rebuilds it into something totally different, a whole new way of thinking.
Then you tell us whether we actually made it better. What took so long?
I was checking everything.
Of course you were.
From Newport Beach, California, this is the Digital Advisor Sandbox.
$50,000 followers.
And 0 clients.
That's not a marketing failure. That's a following that most advisors would kill for.
It's also completely worthless if none of those 50,000 people ever book a call.
So what? Followers don't matter?
They matter, but they only matter as much as the number of people walking past your office window. Some of them, but not most. Definitely not all 50,000.
Okay. But aren't they? Don't they matter anyways? I mean, as far as like exposure, I mean, today we're putting the industry's favorite scoreboard under the lights.
Followers.
It's a bigger audience. And I would say, even for myself, and I struggle with this, how do I compare like bigger audience versus smaller appointments? And you struggle with it because I always feel like, oh man, I got 5,000 followers, and so that's great.
Well, we've talked about this before. People measure the wrong metric, especially when they're trying to get appointments on their calendar. They're looking at their views, they're looking at their follower count. But if none of those followers or views are turning into clients or booked appointments, then you're tracking the wrong metric.
So are you saying that advisors have been optimizing for the wrong number the entire time?
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's head to the pitch room. Welcome back to Digital Advisor Sandbox. I'm Rob Sousa.
And I'm Brian Wayne.
And we're going to take the strategy that most advisors already believe in and find out if it actually holds up.
That's right.
Quick heads up before we get into it, though. There's a lot to unpack today. So we've put a deeper version of this into a downloadable guide. The link, we will post the link later in the show. You can also ask in the comments, go ahead and put download, and we'll make sure that you do get the link for the download or outline for today's show as we reframe this idea into a more effective mindset and strategy. And that will promise, hang in there with us. We'll make sure that that link is posted for you. Today's marketing pitch, you already saw it. More followers mean more clients. And
no, they don't.
So true. But come on, Brian. We do have to address the monkey in the room, which is the fact that, look, the more people I advertise to, the more chance I have of sales. And I want to make the case for it.
But we're not talking about advertising. We're talking about social media and making content. And I think a lot of people will post content because we've all been conditioned now on social media that we need to post a lot of content, and we hear it all the time. Advisors are very frustrated because they're posting, and it's not turning into clients or appointments.
But marketing, advertising, it really doesn't matter. At the end of the day, even if I do advertising, like let's just say I do a workshop, and I know that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about social media and views today. But even if I did a workshop and I got like 200 registrants, I'd feel really good about that.
Yeah, and then you spend how many hours on your workshop and everyone leaves and they feel like they got a lot of value, a lot of good content, and they go, thanks a lot, and they leave and they don't book an appointment. How did that work out for you?
Yeah, that's a reality check. I still have some challenges with it because at the end of the day, is it really your size of your audience or the effectiveness of your sales pitch? What's the conversion rates? We know what they are. And I guess if you can get the conversion rates to be higher, you can afford a smaller audience. But that's really the question for the day, is more followers versus more conversions. And the traditional view is the more followers I have, the more chance I have at conversions.
That's partly true. Visibility is generally a part of trust, but nobody hires an advisor they've never heard of. So you do want to get your name out there. But how are you getting your name out there? Do people actually care?
It kind of, that's why I brought up advertising, because it makes me feel like the difference between like traditional commercials and advertising versus like billboards on the side of the road. Why do companies do billboards on the side of the road? Nobody drives down the freeway and writes down or takes a picture of a phone number.
Well, I would say now you're getting into branding, and like Coca-Cola, they throw their logo on everything. They're not trying to get conversions. They're just trying to brand their company in people's memory. So that's part of trust. That's part of awareness.
Okay. So, but I think that's where the missing piece is for me is, you know, people say, oh, I've been posting like crazy and I have all these views and I have all these followers and they're not generating leads. So I think we do need to be very distinctive about what I brought up earlier, the difference between advertising and marketing. Marketing, and it should be reversed. Marketing and then advertising. And
advertising just amplifies your marketing.
Correct.
And it's right here on the back billboard here. Do they care?
Right.
Do they even care about what you're saying? And do they have the problem in their life that you're even talking about?
So today I'm going to challenge you.
Okay.
The idea of marketing and advertising, because I know we didn't premise this with advertising. If you don't lay the right groundwork for marketing, advertising will also be ineffective.
You'll just be spending a lot of money to get views, and nobody wants to do that, right?
Right. And at the end of the day, I know you keep arguing all that matters is conversions, right?
Mm-hmm.
But marketing, that's the premise. More followers means more. All I'm saying is, from a marketing standpoint, you have to do enough marketing for people to become familiar with you, like, know, and trust you in order for people to care about listening to the advertising pitch.
Yes. And I would say part of marketing and part of follower count, since that's what we're talking about today, you will get followers. And if you are doing effective marketing, some of those followers may not convert now, but they might convert in the future if your messaging is the right message for the right audience. We call it market match or market fit.
So why you keep telling me make people care?
Because they have to care about you. You have to get inside their head.
I know. We go back and forth. But we want to know what you think. And so if you're watching right now, we have two sides of the argument, which is growing a bigger audience or just positioning yourself for conversion with a smaller audience. I think of the phrase, and I think it was from Patel, that said it's better and more cost effective to become a big fish in a small pond than it is to try and be a small fish in a big pond competing in the book Blue Water Marketing. It's better to compete where there's less competition. It's easier to stand out than it is to compete in a big market.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, if you agree, make sure that you post, give us feedback, because it's our new Sandbox show, which today's episode 1, new set, new studio. We want to make sure that we're inviting you into this conversation. We want your opinions. So make sure you either post in the comments whether you agree or you disagree. Is a bigger audience the primary foundational principle that I kind of lean towards?
Mm-hmm.
Then I can worry about conversions later, or do you need to start with conversions in mind and build your marketing and advertising system based on conversions? Agree, disagree, please post it in the comments. And
so let's take this to the editing room and find out if this actually holds up.
all right.
Let's go to the editing room. All right.
So walk me through it, Brian. Where does the logic that I know I hold and the advisors I work with for the last 20 years, break it down for me?
Well, it breaks down. It breaks the second you start asking, does the advisor's calendar look like he has 50,000 followers? If you have 50,000 followers and you get one booked appointment a month, does it matter that you have 50,000 followers?
I don't know. For the one client that I want to put on my calendar, or the qualified lead that I want to put on my calendar, when they see I have 50,000 followers, isn't it gonna create more authority for me?
In a sense, I guess it could. I mean, it's a great vanity metric you can brag about, but of those 50,000 followers, you might only have 2,000 actual hardcore potential clients.
And for most advisors, that would be
Probably 100, probably 10.
okay. It's so true. Yeah, and there's so many dirty tricks. I see marketers, false subscribers, they're inflating followers, they're having their team go and like and share. So it is kind of,
And those strategies are falling by the wayside, because I think everyone knows by now that those tricks and tactics actually end up damaging your reputation, damaging your account.
But still, does that really, I don't want to be black and white about this, but does that really mean that followers don't matter? The number of subscribers, followers, the audience, connections on LinkedIn.
It matters, but then again, it comes down to messaging. I mean, if that's the only thing you're tracking, if that's the only thing you're following, I would say that's the wrong metric to be looking at.
That's okay. I'll buy into that, because at the end of the day, no matter what we are debating about, if it's not creating appointments that create sales, does it really matter?
No.
Okay. So that's why I'm willing to listen. That's why we have this partnership, because I partnered with you to help me get a perspective outside of the financial industry to break down these traditional views that have been existing for decades. The financial industry has not innovated for decades. And so we really hired you to try and help us innovate and create more profitable. That's the metric you're talking about. What converts into an appointment, which converts into a sale. Mm-hmm. So I'll take the bait.
All right. Well, think about how those advisors or how those followers actually convert. And a financial advisor's content, a huge chunk of that is the advisor's audience is other advisors also just studying your content.
You know what? I have seen that. There is a particular advisor out of Illinois who posts, like, I check his content every day because it's actually really creative and funny.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but when and then I'm like, wow, he got like 22 comments. But
They're all from advisors, other
they're all
advisors.
from
Yeah.
other financial
Yeah. And another
advisors.
chunk of those people are people who would never fit. They're either the wrong age, they're the wrong asset level, they might be in the wrong state. And a viral post can pull in exactly, it can pull in the right kind, or it can potentially pull in the wrong kind of audience.
Yeah, and I've experienced that too. We did a radio ad in 2012, and of course, when you're doing traditional radio, especially here in Southern California, you got to go to a Los Angeles radio station. It went all over Southern California, all the way, and I know my advisors are driving like all the way up to Santa Barbara, all the way down to San Diego, and I get the phone call on their way home. Why did you send me to this person? This person has absolutely no money, and
Right.
it was a total waste of half of my day, and they were mad.
And that's the danger of when we talk about virality. Everyone wants to go viral, but virality pulls in everyone. So
I guess what you're saying is, see, I'm stuck because, yeah, going viral for me is like more billboards on the freeway, and how can that hurt me? And so that's where I'm stuck between going viral and followers and subscribers.
well, you got to remember, social media is mostly about entertainment. I mean, why do people get on their phone and they start scrolling? If they want to be distracted, they want to be entertained. You might have, like, I saw a post the other day that was very viral, had thousands and thousands of views, and then other people started copying that same hook or that same style, but it had nothing to do with me. It was interesting, it was cute to watch, but I was never going to purchase. I think it was for garage doors or something, but it had nothing to do with what I wanted. But it was an interesting ad, and I watched the whole thing. I watched it twice, but I was never going to call and
kind of like a billboard.
It was never going to convert. Yeah.
Yeah. Driving by a billboard in the freeway. Told in Dollars says establish trust first, followers. So followers will follow. So that's kind of the mindset that I'm approaching it from, is like, can't big audiences that see more content be more likely to start to trust you, and then you can convert them?
Yeah. And I think what we're talking about here is, it's not a bad thing. I'm not saying don't do it. Don't post content. Don't try to get more followers or more views, but that shouldn't be the only thing that you're looking at.
Okay, I'll buy into that. The one thing I'll agree with in this conversation is that at the end of the day, we do have to look at conversion to sales. Your appointment set rate of qualified leads and the conversion rate to sales.
Now, not to get political or controversial, but
you've
seen a lot of these politicians, and they're doing the weird dance, or they're out there like they're just trying to get attention at any cost, and it's so bad. It falls flat, and you can tell it's cringy. It's not real. It's not authentic. They're going viral, but they're going viral for all the wrong reasons, and it's not working the way that they intended.
Okay, so I hear what you're saying. So how would you reframe it or reprioritize it? Is it possible to do both? Go viral, big follower, and all follower views, subscribers, connects, and also convert? Or are you saying it's more profitable to not even worry about that and really just focus on what metrics determine as viable sales?
Yes. Yes to all of that.
You know what? That's going to be in the next segment. That's the production room. But that's really my question is, can't both be important? That's why we're debating, because I feel like both are important. However,
it's not important in and of itself. It's not important on standing on its own.
I get it. I think the real question that most of our audience is thinking is because we've been doing marketing for so long, people will like get super excited about doing their social media and they'll grow huge audiences. Well, maybe not even huge, but they'll double or triple their current audience, right? And so that feels good to them. But then 12 months later, they terminate services because they're like, this was all great and I loved it, but I'm not getting any sales from it.
Right. And we've talked about that before. It's you can have a specific audience of 400 people who are exactly your ideal client, and that will outperform 50,000 followers of random people every single time, because your pipeline isn't a function of audience size. It's a function of audience fit. And that's what I said earlier. I would rather have 1,000 hardcore fans that will consume and purchase everything that I put out versus 50,000 people that do nothing.
All right. Well, we hired you as the producer, so let's go ahead and let's have you build out a reframe of this concept based on your recommendations and your experience. So
well, we'll try.
Let's head to the production room.
All right. Well, the traditional strategy would be you grow your follower count, and then you treat that reach as your metric, as your scoreboard. And then you would assume that volume of attention equals conversion, right? But if we're going to rewrite the strategy, we want to grow a qualified pipeline of people that will actually convert. And we're going to stop asking how many people saw this, and we start asking how many of the right people watched this content all the way through, and what did they do next?
All right. So lay it out for us. How do we go about doing that? How do we get advisors to shift their thinking and then rebuild their marketing based on your premise?
Yeah. Well, the advisor, I would say, you shouldn't be competing to be the biggest account in the space. You should be competing to be the most obvious choice for one specific type of client. So our client Larry, federal employees, that's his audience. He's not trying to go viral with every tax strategy, family office, whatever. He has a very specific niche, and he talks to those people, and he talks about it very intelligently. He presents the problem. He has a solution. And when you can put those things together, then you have the right market fit.
So that goes back to being a big fish in a small pond.
Yes.
Define your target audience.
Yeah.
If you define your target audience, then that target audience may only be a couple thousand people.
And we've all heard that saying before. If you try to be everything to everyone, you just eventually you end up being nothing to nobody.
Okay. So identify our target audience. The other thing I heard you say is come up with a specific solution unique to you. And we talk about this in every show. A repeatable marketing message that isn't repeatable by another advisor. Can you explain that for a second?
Well, this goes back to previous episodes. We talk about your messaging and knowing your audience, knowing their problem. And if you want to have a repeatable process, but something that isn't repeatable by everyone else, it takes into account your origin story, the solution that you've identified for that particular problem.
Why origin story? I know you're big into storytelling. You're a script writer, but why origin?
Because no one else can copy it. No one else has your background and your knowledge and your experience. You might be in the same industry. You might even serve the same type of client.
Okay. So
but you're going to come at it from a different angle. People are going to resonate with your message and your story more so than they would someone else. The better you can articulate your story and articulate the solution and the reason that you developed it and the problem
motivation behind it. Yeah.
You're going to stand out, and no one's going to be able to rip you off. Or
So
copy
that's the one thing we agree with
you. Mhm.
is that as financial advisors are becoming commoditized and you can get an annuity from any advisor in the country, just walk down to your bank. You can buy life insurance online. Just go to ethos.com. Not to do a plug to a competitor, but you know what I'm saying is like there's no differentiation. If we can find you a cheaper price, well, we've seen that game.
Yeah,
That's a race to the bottom.
Do you really want to compete on price?
Yeah, so that is short-lived. But I do like the idea of taking somebody's origin story. What inspired them to specialize in a specific area for a specific audience with a specific solution that can be if you're able to trademark that idea and the federal government will say that's trademarkable, I know that's been probably the biggest impact you've made on my family's business and it took us like 3 rounds before the federal government would actually trademark our family's unique service. And I think it's a good litmus test, whether you trademark it or not, is the service you offer qualify to be so unique that you can actually throw a trademark on, not just the name. I'm talking about the actual strategy.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah. And I think that's probably the biggest impact. So that's why I'm allowing you to reconstruct this. Can you walk us through the steps of reconstructing your approach to marketing based on the mindset of conversion rather than followers?
Well, how much time do we have? Because it's really not the total views, but it's how many people actually match your ideal client. We talked about that, having a specific niche client. And then you can start warming up your audience with getting comments, replies, DMs, throwing like we're doing in this show. If you agree or disagree, put a comment down below. You agree or disagree. That's a way to measure it. You can measure your engagement volume. And then most importantly, you measure your content to conversion rate.
Okay. So
how many people actually started to engage with you?
So I know you created a bullet point list. It's going to be in the outline that's available for download, and we'll post the downloadable link in the comments of today's show. We're on 3 platforms live right now. But one of the things that you have constantly challenged me on is it's not about views, it's about engagement. So if you are a financial advisor who has views, but you can't seem to get people who are not financial advisors.
And I would say the number one way to do that, and I see people miss this all the time, is they just forget to ask.
That's
just
true.
Ask.
That's true.
Say, do you agree or disagree?
True. That is very true.
Or if you have like some sort of guide, if you give away value for free, put out I know we talk about lead magnets and it seems kind of over discussed, but have some sort of downloadable guide, not a piece of fluff,
right.
Actual, real, tangible value that someone can download. And then now you're getting engagement. Now you have a way to follow up with that person.
So I hear you saying, and
it's not just views. It's not about views.
You keep saying to me over and over again for the last couple of years, engagement. If you're not engaging your target audience, you're wasting your time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really,
and views are views. They're not engagement.
And I get that. So let's talk about building content that is purposefully designed for engagement.
Well, we talked about a couple of them. You can have a download. You can have ask for comments.
But even on downloads, Brent, there's AI now. I can get a download for pretty much any information I like. Most downloads in our industry is just like an informational guide. I can get that guide on any AI platform. So what needs to be in that guide or that downloadable that they can't get from AI or a Google search?
something that is, like you said, trademarkable. If
Okay.
it's something that it's a system or a strategy that you've personally designed that they can't get from anywhere else, because that's the whole point. That's what we just talked about, the big fish in the small pond, the red ocean, blue ocean. If you are saying and doing the exact same things, if you're watching a lot of content from other advisors and is copying what they're doing, you're not really setting yourself apart. How are you different than any of the other people out there?
Yeah. And just looking at comments, Jay Galora, going viral may feel like a win. That's an ego metric, right? And I'm telling you, I love checking views because it feels good. But it means very little
if the audience isn't interested in becoming a client. That's true.
That's hard to accept, but I think that's probably the biggest takeaway.
And that's where people get so frustrated. It's exhausting.
Yeah.
But it's exhausting trying to put out all this information, this content, and you might feel like you're saying it over and over and over again. But when you finally have said it for the 500th time and you're just completely exhausted, you got to remember that's when your audience is just now starting to pay attention.
Yeah. So let's wrap up with kind of the takeaway from your new reframe. What's the most important thing? If you had one thing to tell them that is a takeaway to ask yourself when you've developed a social campaign or a social post, what's the one thing that you want advisors to ask themselves in the creation process?
It would be, does your message fit your audience? Are you even speaking to the right people? Are you speaking to everyone, or are you speaking to that very narrow group of people?
What's the metric? You need to give them a metric. You know what I'm saying? Like,
is your content turning into booked calls?
Okay. So is that the litmus test that you're throwing out there?
I would say that's probably the most important. Yeah.
So if I look at my conversion rates of any social media or advertising campaign, are you saying that booked calls or conversion to sales is the metric I should be looking at?
Yeah. How many inbound leads are you getting? Are people actually calling you or asking you or emailing you or commenting to ask for more information?
Okay. So follower count then really is something that you're challenging our viewers. You've challenged me over and over again on an ongoing basis, and I get it. But I keep telling you different that stop paying attention to follower count. Pay attention to appointment book rates and sales.
I mean, we do that. We do this on our Facebook ads. We can get 15,000 views and 2 people click on it, then we know we have a problem.
Yeah. Analytics matter.
Yeah.
And we keep saying this to financial advisors in the industry. You know, they study, they do financial analytic reports. Hey, we'll do a stress test on your retirement. And they go through this huge comprehensive analysis, but they never do it on their marketing and advertising.
Right.
They never look at conversion rates.
Click-through rate. How many people are actually clicking and going through your funnel to see the next piece of content and the next piece of content, and you bring them through a sales funnel that goes from social media content into your sales funnel into a lead, which is a name, email, and phone number, and then you turn that name, email, phone number into a booked appointment. And it's gonna be small. So don't be disappointed when you get 50,000 views and only 2 booked appointments, because it will be small. And then that gap is I would say that's the biggest thing to be looking at.
Okay.
Don't look at total views. Compare total views to actual outcome, booked appointment.
Okay.
And then try and increase that percentage.
So I have an advice, just from personal experience. I have an advisor in San Diego County, California, who we had a flop of a campaign.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing a live event where he was inviting business owners to come have a happy hour free drink and talk to attorneys, business consultants, brokers, and a financial advisor about how to turn your business into a retirement plan, exit strategy, right? And he called me and was upset because they only had like 12 registrants and only 3 people showed up. But I got a phone call yesterday and he said, we have 2 qualified leads that are in the sales process and one's almost a done deal. But that one done deal from the event that he failed to 5x from what he spent for the event.
Right.
The one sale is giving him 5 times.
That's the metric we should be looking at. It's not follower count. It's not views. It's the gap between views and an actual booked appointment and that percentage. And like you could spend however much they spent on ads. It was worth it, right? For that one.
So,
and if you agree or disagree, leave a comment down below.
No, it's true. No, and we want to hear back from you.
It's disappointing when you walk into a room. It's kind of a letdown when you walk in. You go, "Oh my God, I just spent how much to get 3 people here?"
You took the words out of my mouth,
and I can feel the feeling. You would almost just want to like just cancel.
But you can't feel the feeling I
hors d'oeuvres in the back. Just everyone go home. I quit. But
I've done over 1,000 workshops. I cannot tell you, no matter how much I know the reality and the truth of what you're saying, when I show up after $8,000 investment of everything I needed to put on the event, and in this one particular case, it was planned 8 weeks in advance, and the LA Dodgers went to Game 6 in the we're in California, right? So, and we had like 40 registrants and 2 people showed up.
Oh,
no matter what I tell myself, that's still a really difficult on your ego and your frustration.
But did those 2 people convert?
One of them did.
There you go.
And it paid for the event.
There you go.
So I think those are the key takeaways. I think now let's head to the screening room to hear about what the advisors think about all of this.
All right.
All right. So if you'd like a download of what Brian just laid out as the markers you need to take into consideration to build out your next marketing or advertising campaign, and it's really 4 core principles, 4 steps, feel free to, and whether we'll get it posted here, our producer will put it in the show notes so that you can download that new reframed idea. Now, does that necessarily mean that you agree with Brian's reframe? Or do you still struggle with some of the doubts that I have that you constantly have to battle with me over? And make sure you comment in the comments. Let us know, agree, disagree. But let's talk about the feedback that we've gotten on this reframe. And that's why we're screen testing, because we want feedback from real advisors going through this in a real way, front row seat.
Yeah, we've kind of restructured the format of the show. So we're trying to get that engagement. We want to hear from you, the audience. If you're watching this on a replay, leave a comment. If you're watching it live, leave a comment and tell us what you think. Tell us what you've tried. I'd like to hear what you've tried and has been a success. I'd also like to hear what you've tried that you thought would work, that might have been good advice, that was a total flop.
Yeah, I'd like to know what your frustrations are. I mean, we're here to try and solve problems. I mean, that is literally the reason that I reached out to you and spent a year convincing you to work with me, was because I needed to solve these biggest frustration points. I was spending all this time and money helping advisors, and some certain things were just not landing. They weren't converting. And it started at the pandemic because we were doing everything live. We had become the experts in doing regular workshops, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. Dialed it in, felt overly confident, and then the pandemic hit, and then we had to pivot to digital, which we had not done. And that's where
that's a completely different animal. Doing webinars live or even pre-recorded webinars, it's a completely different game.
Yeah, I called you a year later after 12 or 16 webinars that just fell flat, wasting tens of thousands of dollars. So what we want is to get your feedback. Tell us what, like the problem I had when I switched to digital in the pandemic. Where's the struggle for you? Where are you dissatisfied? Where is it that
what are those roadblocks?
What are those roadblocks? What's the gap you're trying to fill that we can try and more specifically answer that question for you? So that, we gave you the 4-metric framework, and at the end of the day, either you drop it in the comments or we'd like you to click on the link that we're posting again. Actually, it's already been posted twice, where you can go and you can not only get the download, but you also can give us your feedback. You can give it in written. We're going to ask you to give a 1 to 5 star review on Brian's reframe of the 4 steps that he wants people to take.
Or if you want to just record a selfie video and post it, we'll play it on the show.
Yeah. And so
we want to hear from the audience. What are you actually struggling with? And we'll try and tear it apart and we'll put it back together and see if we can come up with something better.
So let's take a look at our critique reviews, and we'll go ahead and give you the invite to be a part of the show. If we can get there. If not, I'm going to continue. Live show. That's what happens. Okay. So I'm going to keep going. The critique or the critic's review is really you, the advisor. That's we want to help solve real world problems for real advisors and help get you to the next level by solving those problems. And that's where we want you to go to that link, same link that you're going to go to get the download, have an opinion of the download, an opinion of the show.
And you can register for future shows. We'll send you a notification.
And also what we really want is to highlight you on our next show. And that's why we created the Sandbox After Dark podcast. It's a video podcast where we are actually going to showcase all the reviews or the best reviews that are submitted to us. And we will feature you on our show.
Or we'll answer questions. Send us a question. Right. Send us something you're struggling with. I would love to hear about some ideas that you worked on that totally flopped, and we'll try and dissect them and see how we could make them better.
Yeah. And so
or we might just throw them all out and say they're total garbage.
And we actually, for anybody who submits an actual review, a video review, you can do a text review as well, and we'll still feature it on the Sandbox After Dark every Tuesday at 9 a.m. But for those who submit a video review, not only will we promote their company, their name, their services, but we will also give them a proposal for one complimentary project to implement what their suggestion. So we'll choose one per show. We'll choose the best review who presents the best argument for what problem they're trying to solve based on today's topic. And we will actually provide completely complimentary service to solve that problem, implement it into their company.
Yeah, that'll be a good challenge.
So we encourage you, click on the link and submit a video review. If you'd like to be featured, have your business promoted, and also compete to win complimentary services. But we will be talking about the best promoted financial advisor ideas. That's why you said what works, what what has not worked for you.
Mhm.
Because the collaboration, that's what the Sandbox After Dark is. That's where we're going to share, hey, this advisor tried this and it worked. This advisor tried this and it did not. And
how can we tweak it to make it, if it doesn't work, we'll figure out how we can make it work. And if it is working, we'll come up with ideas on how to make it work even better.
yeah, absolutely. So I'm super excited about the follow-up show. So Sandbox After Dark video podcast, Tuesdays. This is Pacific California time.
Yeah, we'll post it on Tuesdays.
9
It'll be
a.m.
available on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts.
Yep. And then our same broadcast we do today, which is really the debate about reframing or challenging traditional views, every Thursday, 9 a.m. Pacific time. And in the meantime, we hope that you guys will reach out to us, let us know how we can help you. Submit a review, download the free outline that was given to you today. We'd love to hear back from you. And in the meantime, we'll see you in the digital world.